Good evening. We begin from Toronto Police Headquarters now with a scathing report by the Ontario Human Rights Commission, which finds black men are 20 times more likely to be shot and killed than white people. The findings are based on numbers from the SIU, which is the province's watchdog, numbers that have never been released before. Advocates, though, say they've known about this for decades.
Black people in Toronto are far more likely to have police use force against them that results in serious injury or death.
Here are the numbers the Human Rights Commission says backs up that claim. Their report concludes black people make up just 8.8% of the population, yet are grossly overrepresented in violent encounters with police. Finding from 2013 to 2017, black people made up 28.8% of police use of force cases, 61.5% of use of force cases that resulted in civilian death, and 70% of police shootings that ended in civilian death. And yet, the report finds a higher proportion of white people had a weapon in police use of force cases, and white people were more likely to have a criminal record and to have allegedly attacked or threatened police than black people.
We live this every day. It is the common thread that is sewn through the tapestry of the black community. Negativity from the police, disrespect, brutality, sometimes murder.
According to the Human Rights Commission, the SIU director's reports also show a lack of legal basis for police stops, inappropriate searches, unnecessary charges, and arrests, all of which advocates say leads to distrust of police.
I have heard from black youth with whom I work that when they set out to come to school in the morning and consider which way they'll go, or whether they'll walk in pairs or in a group, are all decided with police in mind. Do I feel like talking to police today? Do I want to be harassed? These stories are everyday. They are common. This is the reality of the young people growing up in different pockets in this city.
The Human Rights Commission launched the report after charges were laid against an off-duty Toronto police officer and his brother in the beating of 19-year-old Defonte Miller and the death of Andrew Loku in 2015. He was carrying a hammer when he was shot by an officer. The interaction lasted 21 seconds. The Toronto Police and the Toronto Police Services Board released a joint statement today in response to this report, saying no organization is immune from overt and implicit bias. And yet they also questioned the report's findings as well, saying some may raise questions about the approach, methodology, and statistical basis of this report, adding the issues need to be scrutinized. Here's what the head of the Toronto Police Union has to say about it.
My concern with this report is that, they are using data to support a conclusion without any context. And what I mean by that is that when we talk about these types of numbers, what's really important and what's missing from this discussion is under what circumstances were the interactions between police and these people who were involved in shootings or whatever. So what led us to be dealing with these people? What was that interaction? Were there weapons involved? Were there mental health issues? Were there drugs involved? What exactly happened there? So I think it's really misleading.
And we'll be talking to Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders about this report tomorrow morning on Breakfast Television. In the meantime, the Human Rights Commission is calling on Toronto Police to collect race-based data. Its final report, which will include numbers on carding, is expected to be released in 2020.
Black people are living in fear in this city. Young black people are living in fear. And black kids go out on the street and they are prepared to be stopped because it is a part of life. Being black in this city means that you can be stopped, you can be carded, you can be searched without your approval for no reason whatsoever.
A lot of reaction to this report in the Jane and Finch community tonight, not because people are surprised, they say this is common knowledge, but there are finally some hard numbers to back up what they say has been going on here for decades. I spoke with activists and residents who say there is a genuine fear of police in this community.
We've got a problem, and we've had a problem. Young people are dying by the hands of police, and families are being criminalized by the Toronto Police Force.
Well, you get targeted for no reason sometimes. You're just walking down the street and the police officer just flash a light right in front of your face. It's just sad, but that's just the way it is.
Do you go out with this fear that maybe you could be stopped?
Yeah, I do, yeah. sometimes when I see the white police, during the police, I always want to like avoid them. I don't want any issue with them because I'm afraid they might pin something on me sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, I just do my thing my way. I lay low when I see them. Like I don't do anything to make them look at me or anything. Yeah. But the black police, anytime I say black police, I always greet them. So I can't do that with the white police. It's not, I'm not being racist, but I'm scared.
You can't really tell who's in the wrong, really, but sometimes it's influence, sometimes it's not. You really can't tell until you dig deeper. Yeah. And people are just prone to jump into conclusions. That's a problem. Because there's always, like, mistakes made on both sides. Mm-hmm. That's undeniable, but jump into conclusions what never finds a solution.
This is disgusting. This is a race of people that are being targeted in the most vicious way in all systems. We're talking about the police system, education, housing. This is all an attack on black bodies.
Do you think things will change given this report?
No, not unless there is a real determined effort on the part of the city, the province, to actually do anything about it. And if the police is really serious about the report, that money will get redirected into social programs, into educational programs, into sustaining communities, black communities.
Activists I spoke with today say they're not satisfied with the police response to this, nor are they confident anything will change anytime soon, but they will continue fighting for the safety and security of black people in this city.